friendly. Green, environmentally friendly, and use a soy ink. So here's my yellow. I need a warm red. You can see I have warm reds up here. So again, Braden Suffin, warm red, Pantone matching system, New Century, and the date on this ink is 2006. We'll need a transparent white. So here's my transparent white from 2006. It's closed though. So here's an open can. This is going to be ugly, ugly, ugly. All right, and now all I need is a black. Okay, I need a black ink. Black is black. So I like to completely empty an already open can of ink before starting a new can, and we want to make sure that we can easily take these lids off. So we want to make sure that we wipe clean the outer surface of the can, the outer rim and the inner lid. The problem is when students clean the can, the solvent removes the inkjet label, so you can't see the identification on here. That's why I sometimes put the letter K on the top of the can so that you know these are black inks. So I have 4 cans here that are open already. This is heavier. These are about the same weight, and this is lighter, so we should be okay here. Okay, so let's just take a look at something else here. I might need a we'll get by. So we're going to mix pounds, and the symbol for pounds is LB, or pounds. We might want to know what that is in ounces, OZ, and we probably want to know what that is in grams, G. So 1 pound is 16 ounces, which is 453.6 grams. Let's make sure that that's accurate. I think that is pretty close. So if we reduce this down to 1/2 fraction form, or 0.5 decimal form, percentage, that would make this 8 ounces. Half of 453 would be 226.8, I think. If we cut that in half again, we're down to 1/4, or 0.25, which is now 4 ounces. Half of 266 is 113.4. That was easier. Half of 1/4 is 1/8 of a pound, which is 0.125, which is just 2 ounces. Half of 113 would be 56.7. Then we could have half of 1/8, which is 1/16, which is 0.0625, which is half of that is 1 ounce, and half of 56 would be 28.35. Now I left this one empty because I want to do 1/10, right? Which would be 10%, and that would be 1.6 ounces, and that would make this 45.4. So the question is, how much ink do I need to mix? Now, remember, we're running these on the Ryobi 2800 press. So how much ink would you put into the ink fountain here? Well, it's not a pound, it's not a half pound, it's not a quarter pound. 1/8 is probably still too much. 1/16 might be too little. It depends on how many sheets you're going to print and what the ink coverage is. So this ink coverage here is pretty heavy. So I think I'm going to go with 1/10 of a pound, which is 1.6 ounces, which is 45.4 grams. What's nice about this is when I weigh it, it'll help me do 100% scale weight. Okay. All right. So let me just make sure I understand my formula here. PMS number 7516U for uncoated. Right. And what we have here is we have yellow at 20%. We have warm red at 20%. We have black at 10%. And we have a transparent white, which is clear, which is a varnish, at 50%. So when you add these all up and get a total, it should equal 100%. 2, 4, 5, and 5 is 100%. So if I'm going to mix a 10% of a pound, 16 ounces or 453 grams, then all I have to do on my scale is make this come out to nice even numbers. Okay? Does that make sense? So I want to come up with 45.4 grams, right? Or 10%. Okay. Oh, by the way, I'm videoing this with a GoPro camera Series 5. So I don't know how long I can record for. So this video might accidentally stop and then restart again. So we might have to have part 1 of 2 and part 2 of 2. All right. Okay. Now we're going to mix this on a digital scale here. But I wanted to show you the old scales we used to have. And the old scales, here's one made by a company called O-House. This is called the triple beam balance scale because there's 3 beams here. So what you would do here is you would zero out, right, with this adjustment here. And then this is from 0 to 1 ounce, and you would do the ounces. And then this is 0 to 16 ounces, and this is a fraction of an ounce. So that's why it's called a triple beam. And the maximum weight on here would be 2,600 grams or 5 pounds and 2 ounces, right? But we're not going to use this, right? But I just wanted to show it to you. You might see something similar to this like in a doctor's office, right? Okay, one more footnote here. One of the lab projects that we do in class is I give you a blank Pantone based mixing sheet, and we cut out so this is a piece of clear plastic mylar, and we cut out a square here that fits the same size as those. And what we would do is we would have you dip your finger and do a finger tap out for each of the colors, so you walk away with the Pantone base mixing guides, right? Just wanted to show you that quickly. Okay, we're ready to mix. So here's my digital scale. We have it plugged in, but it also can run off batteries here, but if we leave the power on, obviously we drain the batteries out. So we turn it on. It does some self-diagnostics. And this is the model of this O-House scale is called Scout Pro. We can tear it. Tear means to zero out. So if there's anything on here, we would just hit the tear button and that would make it go to 0. Now this is a calibration weight and it says it should be 200 grams. I don't know if you can see that, 200 grams. So when I put this on here, we should be very close to 200 grams, and that's close enough for me. So I'm verifying the calibration, the accuracy of the scale. We'll just put this to the side now. Okay, so I have my yellow from 2002, and as you would expect, this ink is all dried up. It has a hard crust on it. We have to remove all of that so that we don't get any hickeys, fish eyes, or donuts that stick either to the plate or to the blanket, and those would leave a void in the solid printing, right? So that all has to be removed. So why don't we get some scrap paper over here. I think I'll work right here. Now what we should do is we should cut